Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do in making our hanging wall pocket, we're gonna put down one piece of paper towel on your work surface to make sure your clay doesn't stick to the surface that you're rolling out on. Here's our clay. And put it in the middle of the paper towel. Sandwich it between your second paper towel and grab your rolling pin. Now we're going to put some pressure down on the clay on the paper towel to roll it out. Let's take a look. It's looking a little bit flatter. Gonna move it down so it stays in the middle of my paper towel. I'm gonna keep going. Now we want the clay to be about a pancake, the thickness of a pencil. No thinner than that. Roll it vertical, but also roll it horizontal. And if your paper towel starts to rip and stick to the clay, flip it over and go at it on the other side. Looking good. Let's see the thickness. Okay, take a look at how thick my slab, my clay pancake is. So that's about the thickness we're going to go for. Now, the next part is a little bit tricky. We're going to be using our ruler and taking either our toothpick or the paper clip that you've bent into a little straight pin, one or the other. I'm going to use the paper clip. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this bottom half of your slab into a rectangle with straight edges. Because as you can see right now, it's got a little bit of a curve to it, right? So what we are going to do is take our ruler and place it along this edge right here. And gently drag the paper clip or the toothpick along the side. Careful not to rip the paper towel, although it doesn't really matter if you rip the paper towel, that's okay. Alright, so now I've got a straight edge, check that out. Now, I'm going to do another straight edge along this side. Alright, put my ruler in place in a spot that's parallel with this line. I'm going to drag my paper clip through the clay lightly, pull off that little piece of scrap, and we have two mostly parallel lines. Check that out. Alright, now I want you to take your ruler and finish the last straight edge. We don't need a straight edge up here, but we do need a straight edge on the bottom. So I want you to connect these 2 points with your ruler. This low point, and sorry, you can't see that. This low point and this low point. So we're going to connect them with the straight line in your ruler so that we're making what looks like the bottom of a rectangle. So your slab has 1, 2, and 3 straight lines to it. Eventually, to make the wall pocket, we're going to be lifting up this part of your clay up like this and then sealing it in like an envelope. All right. And check that out, I've got stray bits of my paper towel, that is no big deal. What will happen is once I fire these pieces in the kiln, the heat of the kiln is going to burn that paper towel right off. But since it's pretty wet, flip it over, take it off like that. And I am not worried about that at all. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to try and dig it out with a paper clip or toothpick, because for the most part, it'll just make gougy marks in your slab, and you don't want to do that right now. All right, so I'm going to flip this back over to show you. We're going to make our botanical imprint here. And remember, this is going to flip up, so I'm going to place my leaf, this is a geranium leaf, wherever I want it, but upside down. So if you want it to look like this when it's hanging on the wall, we're going to roll it like this. All right, I'm going to place it in the middle, and I'm going to flip it this way so that when I make the wall pocket and hang it up on the wall, it's going to look a little bit like a heart, because this is an upside down heart. All right, so take your leaf or your flower, whatever you're using, place it gently into the clay with your finger, and then you're going to put your paper towel down, and you're not going to go at it real hard, because if you do, you're going to start squishing the slab. The rolling we're doing right now is pushing the leaf into the clay. That's all we're wanting to do. So you don't want to do it too hard. Take a look at that. Now, before I flip this over, because this is going to be the wall pocket, the front of the wall pocket, all right? And I got a lot of creases here, so I'm going to use my finger to start smoothing them out. And I know anytime I make a botanical imprint in clay, I'm always very tempted to want to pull the leaf out, or pull the flower out right away to see how it looks. But you need to hold off on that, and we'll do that at the very end so that we can do all of the smoothing and all of the detail work first, because if you pull the leaf out now, you're not going to be able to cleanly smooth out the cracks around it without affecting how the leaf looks. Is smooth out the top here, because this is a part of your wall hanging that will be seen once you hang it up on the wall. So smooth out the top half of your slab just with your finger. And if you have any stubborn cracks, this is what your water is for. A little bit of water on the fingertip, smooth it out. If you don't have cracks, don't even worry about the water. Alright, now is the fun part. I'm going to take the bottom of my rectangle, one of the straight edges, where I put my leaf. I'm going to lift it up like this. And to create the shape of my pocket, I'm going to take one of my paper towels, smush it into a ball, shove it in there. Okay. Now this is the beginning of the wall pocket. Now we're going to crimp the edges. That means seal the edges right here, because this is all open on both sides here. Gently crimp them with your finger. Stick them together. Do not crimp the top though, because that's the pocket. Crimp the edges that are folded together. Now, you can keep the edges crimped like this as a sort of decorative design, or you can smooth them out. I'm going to smooth them out for you just so you can see what that looks like. Now the next step is, you can see that when I folded, you don't have to pick yours up, but when I folded, look what happened. All these little creases happened. All right, some of those I'll get out with my finger without any water, and some of them I might need to use the water. Let me show you how that works. You might want to avoid lifting it up. I was only lifting it up for you to see the angle of it because of the camera, where the camera is, but you might not need to do that. If you just keep it on the table and smooth along this edge like that, you should be fine. All right, we're almost done actually. Now, you do need to have a hole. A pencil is really the best way to make a hole for a wall hanging, but I forgot to grab one before I started the video. So I'm going to use my paper clip, which is just fine. All we're doing is making a hole all the way through, but you want to make it big enough to grab onto the head of a nail if you're going to hang it on a wall, which is what I imagine you guys will do because it's called a wall hanging. All right, just going to smooth that out, make it look pretty. If you need the water, use the water. If you don't use it. Don't want clay to get slimy. Now see, there's still a few little cracks. I'm gonna smooth all that out right now. Now I'm going to take out my geranium leaf just to show you what it looks like, but you don't have to do that right away with your piece. If you'd like to take a look at it, feel free to peel it off at this point, but only peel it off once you have smoothed out all your bits. Because now that the leaf is gone, I don't want to mess with this at all because I'll lose all the beautiful, veining in the leaf, right? See how that looks like a little heart? That's why I put the leaf upside down when I first rolled it out. All right, and now you have a lovely wall hanging. And the last piece of the puzzle is really waiting for a good few hours, like 3 hours to maybe, or more, to flip it over. I'm doing it right now, but I would wait if I were you. It's drying. Make sure to leave that paper towel in there because the paper towel is helping you keep the shape of the pocket. If you take the paper towel out before the clay is sufficiently dry, it's going to collapse and go flat, and then you won't be able to put anything in it. And right now, it's just the right size for a couple of little dried flowers, or maybe you want to put your pencils in it near your desk. You can put literally, or nothing, or jewelry, or anything you want into that. But there you have it. Be kind to yourself and have fun.